very good evening to you, and many thanks for joining us on this for the day of September 2023, when the Africa Climate Summit has officially kicked off today here in the capital Nairobi at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. Remember, this is the inaugural Africa Climate Summit. Like President William RUTO puts it, it is exactly 31 years after the introduction of this particular climate summit that it is happening in Africa. Now, we've prepared a lot of stories for you this particular evening, including that particular story on the Africa Climate Challenge, among many others. But remember, you can watch this particular bulletin live across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube and Facebook. Now we kickstart this bulletin with matters at the Climate Summit, and more than a dozen heads of state of African countries are due to attend the first African Climate Summit as the continent seeks to assert a stronger voice on a global and existential problem that it contributes the least to. Now, Kenyan President William Ruto's government and the African Union launched the meeting on Monday in the capital Nairobi, determined to wield more global influence and bring in far more financing and support.
It is not a secret that we are paying at least 5 times as much as advanced economies to borrow from the financial markets. It's a fact, documented. Like many of us, a few years ago, I would have believed the challenges were too great and the barriers too high. Today, I see them differently, as mere tests of our collective will and ingenuity. We should develop effective policies and regulations that catalyze investment and entrepreneurship and unleash the creativity of local business. We must transform Africa's resource wealth from mere potential into real opportunities by directing large-scale investments that will actualize the possibilities that exist and await our citizens in present and in future generations. Let's make no mistake, however, we have no choice but to approach this colossal task with clear minds and open eyes. A lot needs to happen before Africa can live up to its full potential of providing climate solutions for its citizens and to the entire world. Over the next few days, I have no doubt that African leaders seated here and our friends from elsewhere will be open, honest, and direct about what we can commit and bring to the table and the type of the collaborations we need from our global partners.
Moving forward, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Monday said that Kenya is working on partnering with the United Arab Emirates to bolster school meal programs in the country in a bid to increase the number of children benefiting from them. Speaking when he hosted United Arab Emirates Minister for Environment and Climate Change, that is Mariam Al-Meri, at Harambee House Annex, the DP said the two countries enjoy strong ties and Kenya is looking to work with the United Arab Emirates to expand the school feeding activities.
We have just come out of the worst drought in 40 years after 5 failed successful seasons. And as a result, millions of children are out there not going to school. And we have tried, and it is working, in areas where we have a school meals program. The enrollment in the school is very high, and the retention rate, the children stick in school. So we really want you to intercede for us with your government, to be our advocate and see whatever support you can give to this country in that program. And it's well laid out in the concept note that we sent through diplomatic channels. And we trust that in keeping to our tradition and friendship, the United Arab Emirates will hold our hand and assist us in that aspect.
Having these discussions here in Africa, I believe, is essential because We need the voice of the global south to be much more prominent in the climate, because you are doing the least when it comes to the emissions, but you're impacted the most.
Now, as the government embarks on the registration of the elderly, people living with disabilities and orphans across the country, Kenyans have been urged to take advantage of the exercise to ensure those less privileged will get monthly stipends. Now, Gishigu Member of Parliament, that is Gishimu Githinji, has called on Kenyans to come out in large numbers to give their details as the government intends to streamline the Inua Jamii program.
Huu mpango wa Inua Jamii umeanza tarehe 1 mwezi wa 9, na serikali imefikiria kwamba kwa sababu hawa watu wa Inua Jamii hawajaandikishwa kwa miaka mingi, hii serikali ya William Samoei Ruto imesema mwaka wake wa kwanza watu ambao hawajaandikishwa kwa miaka kadhaa waandikishwe ndio waweze kunufaika na hiyo pesa ya Inua Jamii ambayo inanufaisha wale walemavu, wale mayatima na wale ambao wamefikisha miaka 70 kupanda juu. Kwanza imeweza kulipa yale madeni yalikuwa ya miezi kadhaa ambayo hayakuwa yamelipwa kwa wale walikuwa wananufaika na huu mpango, na sasa wako ile tunaita up to date, kwa sababu wameshatangaza hata wale walikuwa wanufaike na wameshasajiliwa mwezi wa 8. Wale walikuwa wananufaika hapo mbeleni, pesa ya mwezi wa 8 already italipwa mwezi huu wa 9. Kwa hivyo wamesema wanataka kuwa wanalipa kila mwezi, ndio wazee wetu, mayatima na wale walemavu wasiumie. Hii ni serikali tumeona kwa kweli imeanza kujali wale watu wa kiwango cha chini, na ningetaka kuwahimiza watu wote wale wako na watoto walemavu, hata watu wazima walemavu kwa kiwango fulani, na mayatima na wale wamefikisha miaka 70, huu ni wakati wao wajitokeze. Na hapa Gishugu tumerahisisha kwa sababu huu mpango wa kuandikisha watu kwa huu mpango wa Inua Jamii tumeupeleka kwa kila sublocation. Kila sublocation kutakuwa na usajili, na kila sublocation iko na siku yake. Kwa hivyo hakuna sublocation ambayo itang'ang'ania siku na nyingine.
On to matters education, and the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Treasury, is engaging in ways to waive part of the 60 billion shillings that the public universities owe to KRA. Now, with the universities facing financial crisis, the Ministry admitted that the higher learning institutions could not afford to pay all their pending bills. Addressing the press after meeting with the Senate Committee on Education Matters, Education CS Ezekiel Machogu said that a committee from his docket and the Ministry of Treasury has been formed to look into the pending bills.
Pending bills accrued because we were not sending adequate enough funds to universities, because like last financial year, the amount of money that we were able to disperse to our universities was 48%. So 32% were not dispersed. So it is because of that they were not able to pay for statutory deductions like pay-as-you-earn, NHIF, pensions, and the rest. So we are also getting reports from each and every university and putting up a case with the government. Most likely what we are requesting for is a waiver, particularly for KRA payments, such that those past years they can be given a waiver. But moving forward, each and every university, because we are now going to give them enough funds, they must pay for pay-as-you-earn and other compulsory statutory deductions, as it were.
In a new funding model, and which we really support as a committee, that a student will also, over and above the loan that they're going to receive for the balance after government gives the grant, that the student will now also have a stipend for their upkeep, going to as much as 60,000 per annum for vulnerable learners. And I think I want to take this opportunity also to thank His Excellency the President for asking the professionals to come up with this funding model, because as we speak, every learner will go to school, will report to the university even without any cent, and they'll be paid another 60,000 for their upkeep.
Now, Matatu Owners Association that is set to open training schools for drivers in the country so as to help empower them on more skills of road safety and reduce the increased cases of accidents. Now, the association's national chairman, Albert Karagasha, say they are targeting to train 5,000 public service vehicle drivers countrywide.
Tumekuwa tukienda nchi mzima kuongea na members wetu wa matatu, na tumekuja Malindi leo kujaribu kujadiliana na serikali tuone vile tutafanya kazi tukiwa kitu kimoja. Tumefurahishwa na traffic ya hapa kwa sababu wanafanya kazi pamoja na watu wetu wa matatu, na tumesema waendelee hivyo. Lea mbele kama chama tunakuja na mambo ya kutrain madriver, na tutaweka shule Mombasa because hatuwezi tukafanya kila mahali. Tuone vile tutasaidia mambo ya madereva kwa sababu ajali inaletwa na dereva, na tunafikiri tukiweka hiyo mambo ya training tutakuwa tunaenda mbele. Na tunataka kumshukuru Bwana Kome the IG kwa sababu ametukubalia tutafanya kazi na polisi mahali kuna shida yoyote, tuone vile tutasaidia kwa sababu ni lazima waweke usalama na tufanye kazi tukiwa kitu kimoja. Asante.
Kwa hii training na target drivers wanganazo.
Tukianza mambo ya training, we are going to be targeting more than 5,000 drivers all over the country, na tunasema training yetu tunataka kuweka shule ya kuelimisha dereva. It's going to be a long term training school, sio kitu ya kuja kutrain kidogo. Tunataka shule, tuko na wadhamini, tunajaribu kuongea na wadhamini wengine, tuone vile tutaweka shule Mombasa, Coast Region, tutaweka Nairobi, tutaweka upande wa Rift Valley, tutaweka upande wa Central na upande wa Nyanza, so that tukue na training kwa kila area.
Kwanza mkae, muangalie makosa yenu, muone kama wenye wako kwa hii mambo ya matatu ama usafiri wa barabara, ni nini mnafanya makosa, nyinyi kwanza muweze kurekebisha, alafu sasa ile inawashinda polisi wanakupa. Because sincerely, kitu kama wewe kuhakikisha gari yako iko na reflector, unangojea polisi akushike ndio uweke. So hizo ndio vitu nimeona.
On to matters sports, and the national football team Harambee Stars have started their preparations ahead of their two international friendly matches against Qatar and South Sudan. Now the Stars will depart for Doha, Qatar on Wednesday to play Qatar on Thursday this week and fly back home on Friday to take on South Sudan on the 12th of September here in the capital, Nairobi.
Pass.
Well, those are just some of the stories making headlines at this particular hour on Monday, the 4th of September 2023. But do stay with us because we'll be coming to you with a more detailed bulletin at exactly 7. That is Lookuptv, and this spotlight today at exactly 9 p.m. That is our primetime bulletin. But in the meantime, you can also visit www.lookuptv.co.ke. That is our website, just to have a look or read through the stories and making headlines across the 47 counties of the Republic of Kenya. But until then, do have yourself a lovely evening, and like always, God bless.